Let's get some background music playing, shall we? Let's talk. Get the old glove on, huh? Need to pull up the other. Sorry for bumping there. There we go. There we go. Need to pull up my live stream so I can, if there's anyone here, I can respond to them, if you know what I'm saying. All right, so we'll go here, view the channel, and then go to the live stream, mute that. You're offline? Well, I don't think so. Okay. Cool. All right, cool. Chat revenue. Huh. All right, let's get some background stuff going. Spanking therapy, huh? How about that? Prankster tries to poison people and gets arrested. Okay, let's try that.
Merry Christmas! Tomorrow's the big day. I heard Santa Claus got a BBL this year, so I hope you've got the XL chimney so he can squeeze those playful butt cheeks down there and deliver his special presents for you that you've been asking for. And I even heard from a reliable little helper of his that if you leave goof juice out instead of milk and cookies, old St. Nicholas will be extra happy and might leave you bonus presents. And what if I told you that jolly old son of a bitch done paid me a visit a little early before Christmas with a gift that just can't help but put a smile on my face? A douchebag prankster just got arrested and is facing a Class 6 felony. This is the gift we've all been asking for. 'Tis the season, and they always say it's better to give than to receive. And this one brain-dead idiot fucking turbo moron prankster decided to give random people in a Walmart grocery aisle poison.
Hey, what's up, Kriya? Too much.
Yes, spraying food with bug spray. This guy's good. He's got talent. Now, I'm sure I don't need to educate you that bug spray isn't a safe thing to be consuming. It's literally poison. You could get very ill if you had consumed any of the food that he had sprayed with this. I don't know how someone gets this stupid. I actually don't know how that's possible. You could be chewing on raw plutonium and I don't think it could rot your brain as much as clout does. Like, this guy, his whole Instagram page is nothing but like committing crimes for some internet updudes. I'll go over some of his other recent stinkers here in just a moment, but I have to focus on this for a little bit here because this is unbelievable. It seems like he got inspiration from the Tylenol murderer. You remember the Tylenol murders? Well, I'm guessing this degenerate must have viewed that guy as a prankster. I'm sure all of you know the Tylenol murders, but just in case, I'll drop a quick lore recap on it. Many moons ago, there was a villain who swapped out Tylenol capsules for cyanide and then put the bottles back on the shelf. Buyers bought them, obviously not knowing they'd been tampered with, took them, and some people died from it. This is that same...
Hey, Julius. I don't remember your name, but I do remember the Deadpool picture, your Deadpool avatar. How are you doing today? I need to put something big splashy right here. What do you think as far as a bow goes? I'm doing good, doing all right. Playing around on Procreate here. Let's throw in, let's see what this can create with a divide. And by that, I mean the following. Make sure to add a new layer here. I'm learning that. Yeah, I had a nice Christmas. I had a crazy Christmas Eve. A lot of back and forth, you know, parents' house, in-laws' house. Let's just testing this. And then on, that's not bad. It's like a pinkish brown. What about divide? Blue. That's okay, but I don't like it. On Christmas Eve, I got to play Santa Claus. I had to go to a lot of places. I had to play Santa Claus, and for a friend, and I've never done it before. It was extremely nerve-wracking, and it was so the way they do it is that there we go. They have between their living room and the dining room like a partition, a curtain partition, right? And Santa comes in, so they hide behind the curtain, and Santa comes in and is you know, loading all the presents and everything, and unloading the presents, and everyone's kind of watching in the background and being real quiet, and you know, I hear them. Let's do a light blue. That's pretty. Orange. Yeah. Anyway, when I had the whole Santa suit on, you know, I had my back to everyone, but I was sweating. You know, it was 70 degrees on Christmas Eve. I was sweating through the suit, and when I was, you know, putting the presents on the underneath the tree and everything, my sweat was dripping onto everything. It was gross, just because I was sweating so much. I had the wig, the beard, the hat, the little handkerchief thing, that scarf that goes around your neck, the whole top piece, the whole bottom piece, and then I had a large, not a large, but I had a body pillow inside the suit, you know, to fluff it up a little bit. And yeah, it got hot. I was very sweaty, but it was after all of that, and I got to you know, talk with them after that. It was really fun, like hearing the kids, you know, excitement and stuff like that, and it was really neat. But I'm glad. Oh yeah, in Britain it's probably a little bit cooler. Yeah, 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and you know, like 80% humidity. So freaking hot, so hot in Texas. But anyway, yeah, a lot of back and forth traveling and stuff. But glad you had a good one too. Hopefully not too stressful. I think I want to get rid of some of that smoke. The smoke line, I need to switch layers. There we go. Pull that color. There we go. Jeez. Nope. Am I on divide or something, or what's going on? I need to, yeah, take the opacity down quite a bit. All right, let's see what this looks like. Blend it a little bit here. Try to leave in the tree branches. Okay, that's not bad. It's not great. But I'm going to smudge it too. There's that smudginess. So, do one last coat. There we go. And then we'll smudge it up. I started watching just last night. Whoop, too much. I started watching, what is it called? Crap, Landman with Billy Bob Thornton. Whoops. It is good. It is really good. I binge watched 4 hours of it last night. I should have not done that. I should have been sleeping. But it was really good. I enjoyed so far. There's 7 episodes out so far. I'm only on episode 4. Why I'm yawning should be pretty obvious. All right, let's take away. Were you here on the Julius? Were you here on the last AI live stream, or were you on a different stream? I'm trying to keep kind of my regulars straight in my head. I pretty much know my regulars on my gaming stream, their names, or their screen names at least. But there we go, smudge. There we go. That's better. I don't think the smoke should go that high either, honestly. We should probably get rid of all that, all the way up to, shoot, like right here, really. Yeah, I should do that. I'm still on the right layer? Yeah, cool. Could copy it and erase the top layer. Nah. Where's the fun in that, right? Yeah. How much are we gonna take off though? That's enough, huh? Anyway, if you haven't seen that show yet, definitely give it a watch, give it a chance. If you're not, I was hooked in the first 20 minutes. I usually give a show 2 episodes, a new show, 2 episodes. And if I'm not hooked in by the second episode, I'm done with the show. It's probably not going to get, unless it's like a notoriously slow burn show, you know, it's probably not going to get so much better by the 3rd episode. So, anyway, I was hooked right in the first 20 minutes. It was a very exciting 20 minutes right off the bat. It was good. Make the smudge a little bit bigger, huh? Smudge it out. Nice. Whoop. No, that's okay. I kind of like that. Pinch. Why are you not pinching? There we go. Okay, that's all right. Smoking. I don't like what I did here. I want to, I kind of want to do that, but I also want to add something to it, you know? I like a bow. I like the little flat color here. Yeah, I think those are typically black.
DNA. He is actually just poisoning strangers. He is tampering with their food with literal poison, and that's the content. Now, real quick, let's just set everything.
What did he do?
The content.
Oh.
Now, real quick, let's just set everything else aside here. Just throw it all into the shitter for a moment. Who watches these videos? Who is the audience? There is nothing to even be entertained by. Let's say he wasn't using poison. Let's say he walked up to the food and he sprayed it with cologne, or he sprayed it with fart spray, so it smells all yucky like ass. Well, there's still no video there. Like, what is there to even kick your feet up at? He walks up, he sprays a little bit on it, he just spritzes it, and then he walks away. That's the whole video. What do you even get entertained by? Like, who watches it? I don't know. Like, how lobotomized could you possibly be? It is just the most boring turd burger garbage ever. Nothing is even happening in the video. Like, do you also throw your hands up when you're riding the escalator from the thrill of movement? Like, just watch some fucking jingling keys at that point. Holy Lord, it makes no sense. So even if he wasn't using poison, if he was just using anything else, it would still just be a trash video and a terrible prank. I don't understand who even watches this. Like, I can almost wrap my noodle around kids being entertained by douchebags harassing people in public, because they'd look at that and be like, whoa, he's bad. He's being so naughty, holy shit. But this guy's whole page, which has hundreds of thousands of followers, is just another level of incomprehensible, embarrassing hoopla. Like, it's painful. If you tried to train AI on this guy's pranks, the AI would probably kill itself because it wouldn't want to subject itself to more torture and being trained on these kind of pranks. Anyway, though, Goofball's being charged with 3 different crimes, a Class 6 felony, introducing poison, and 2 misdemeanors, criminal damage and endangerment. From what I understand, he could face between 5 to 20 years from what I've read for this. I'm hoping they don't play softball here. There needs to be some kind of precedent set that you can't just fucking poison people for a prank. Like, come on. So what happened is he filmed himself grabbing a can of bug killer, which was Hot Shot Ultra Bed Bug and Flea Killer. Then he sprayed it on fruit, vegetables, and cooked chicken. He didn't pay for the chemical spray or the contaminated food, and then he left. Apparently he had posted the video and was shocked by the reaction that people had to it. They weren't too pleased with what he'd done. According to police, once he left, he began to see comments online saying how horrible the act was, and he decided to return and collect the items. What a saint. Now, before the charges were filed, apparently the fresh food was thrown away right after, and no one was poisoned, which is actually a miracle, because there was quite a bit of time that passed between him spraying the shit with poison and leaving the store. The defendant returned about 10 minutes after he sprayed the items and attempted to collect the items he had sprayed, placed them in a shopping cart, and wheeled them back to the rear of the store to try and prevent people from taking the contaminated items. Mind you, he would not have gone back in if people didn't tell him to. If people weren't telling him that he might potentially kill somebody with this, he would have never gone back in, and people would have taken those items none the wiser and probably gotten very, very sick because, well, surprise, ingesting poison is not that good for you. And 10 minutes is a good bit of time to have passed with those contaminated items on the shelves. I can ejaculate like 3 or 4 times in 10 minutes. It's reasonable to assume that within that time frame, someone might have come in and taken one of those items and gotten super sick from it. This guy has a fucking chug jug of idiot potion at his house, and he is drinking that every single evening. How can you be so dumb that you didn't recognize that spraying poison on food can hurt people? And how could you have possibly thought even your dumbest members of your audience would think that that was a good prank? So yeah, this isn't like a small whoopsie-daisy type thing. This is something that he really needs to face real repercussions for. There needs to be an example made out of someone that does shit like this. At some point, we have to come together and say enough is enough. Now, TikTokers and Instagram losers are poisoning people for content. Like, there's gotta be a point where you're like, okay, we're not going to play softball. You're going to get the 5 to 10 years. Because that's what he's facing from what I've read. It's like a 5 to 10 year potential sentence. And he should absolutely get it. He should not be able to get off easy for this. Before showing you some more of his dog shit, I'd like to show you something that's probably going to make you even more furious at this guy.
Hello, Forever Outdoors. How come you would like to be a mod? Why is that?
He admitted that he can earn between $6,000 to $10,000 a month for doing acts like these and posting them on social media. He is making substantially more money than most people working right now, just from going out there attempting to poison strangers or harassing workers or just harassing people going about their day-to-day life. I only learned about this douchebag from him being arrested, but even still, I actually gave him the benefit of the doubt on a few of these that they might be fake. But they're not. In this case, I thought what might have happened here is he filmed this random stranger putting his laundry in the washing machine, and then when he put the bacon and eggs into the clothes during the cycle, he actually didn't put it into that guy, the stranger's clothes, he put it into like his own clothes at one of a different washing machine, which would still ruin the washing machine too. Like that still would be destructive, but wouldn't be nearly as bad as just ruining this man's night, ruining his clothes at the laundromat. But what an imbecile I was for thinking that this guy might not be a gigantic asshole all of the time. His whole purpose is just making strangers' lives miserable for his content. He actually did just completely fuck this guy in the face, ruining his laundry. And you can confirm this because the guy comes in and puts his clothes in washing machine number 19, engages the cycle, and walks away. Then this douchebag comes over with the bacon and eggs, throws it into washing machine number 19, and re-engages the cycle. And you can see it right at the end that, yep, it's number 19 that he came in and just completely ruined. This is one of his shorter ones where he nearly performs a halo assassination here on this worker that's cleaning off a bench. So he jumps on him from the top turnbuckle here while he is cleaning and could have easily have broken this guy's arm. He was cleaning the table and then jumps on the area where he is still actively cleaning. If he had stretched his hand out even an inch further, he would have had his hand broken, finger broken, or arm broken.
Hi there, Kyla sisters. This is it's an AI prompt I typed in. I think it was something along the lines of 50s style catalog, retro. I'm trying to think of everything I typed in there. Like pretty woman, 50s style retro arts, sitting on a bench with, I don't remember all the prompt. Hey. What do y'all think you hear? Oh, no one's home. I hope not. There, I'll tell you what though. Get out of here. Go on.
You're doing a good job. This is his bread and butter content. This is his favorite thing in the world. He loves fucking with fast food workers. He doesn't even treat them like human beings. He treats them as less than NPCs. The way he treats fast food workers is worse than how people treat civilians in Skyrim. This guy has so many videos jumping the counter, harassing the workers. He is at his happiest when fast food workers are at their most miserable because of him. Oh, It's his favorite thing in the world. He loves it. In fact, he needs it, really. Like a plant needs the sun. He photosynthesizes fast food workers' agony into his dopamine. He has so many videos being a complete insufferable asshole to fast food workers.
What tacos with the egg roll?
A bathroom?
7287.
Burrito? I got
This guy super sucks. You get the idea. I don't need to keep showing you a montage of his degeneracy. I'm just hoping, with fingers crossed, he gets the book thrown at him, because he should. His most recent prank would literally have injured a lot of people in a big way. I don't know if it would have necessarily killed them, depending on the amount he sprayed, I guess, but it would have been very detrimental to the health of people that consumed his poisoned products that he made for his Instagram content. It's so trash, and he deserves to go to jail for a long time because of it. Also, this loser apparently describes himself as a supervillain, so he's really proud of what he does. Could there be anything more corny than to call yourself a supervillain? What a loser! What an absolute fucking dweeb! So yeah, I really wanted to talk about this a little bit. That's about it. So yeah.
Yeah, that guy's a loser. Let's see.
I went into season 2 of Squid Game with pretty low expectations. I was just expecting a lazy cash grab, but it's kind of late for that since it's been 3 years since the first season became a global sensation. And with the way the world moves these days, 3 years may as well be prehistoric. Point is though, I expected it to just be bad, but it's not. It is actually good.
Good.
Now, I do need to spoil a little something here. There's no Jim Wool, which is a damn shame. That's a big missed opportunity because Jim Wool is almost synonymous with Squid Game at this point.
Yeah.
He is a natural disaster, the devil himself in the Roblox Squid Game circuit, and I really thought that they would tip their hat to Jim Wool in season 2 here, but they did not. What they did do, though, is not just do the same thing again,
Awesome.
which is what I expected. What I really thought season 2 would be is they just do nothing but games.
Mm-hmm.
The same games and then maybe some new games. I just thought it'd just be nothing but games out the wazoo like we're playing fucking Mario Party. But it's not, which was a pleasant surprise. There is a huge emphasis on games. Pretty much anytime some big moment happens, it's part of a game. Like even when it's them hunting the recruiter down, it ends in a game. So there is a lot of that, and they're all good, and they are different. There is only one return game. So that was nice. I once again expected them just to do the greatest hits again. Now that's what I call Squid Game Volume 2, basically. Fucking Kids Bop Squid Game, the second rodeo. They didn't. That's nice. Now, I don't think Season 2 has a chance of reaching the same heights that Season 1 did. That was lightning in a bottle, in the truest sense of the word. It came out at an unprecedented time where everyone was inside, and there was nothing like this out. Of course, there's still a ton of hype for Season 2, but I don't think it's going to reach that crazy, set the world ablaze popularity that Season 1 had. Though I'm sure it will reignite the Roblox Squid Game circuit, and God rest all the souls that cross paths with Jim Wool. Anyway, though, I do think Season 2 here is good. Very good, even. I went into it expecting it to kind of be dog shitty. Nope, not the case.
Nope.
So, Season 2 is much more of like almost a revenge action show than it is a show about survival by any means necessary through these depraved games. Here, we now see a very different Gi-hun, who, I still don't know if I'm saying that name right. I don't remember if it's Ji-hun or Gi-hun. I'm not entirely sure. Sorry if I butchered the pronunciation. But we see him in a totally different way. He even has his own John Wick arsenal. He is using that money that he won, every fucking penny of it, to try and track down the recruiter so he can go to the games and tear it to pieces and shut it down for good. He no longer has the red hair that we saw at the end of season 1. I suppose the director said, all right, I was playing a bit of a goof on you. We'll get serious again. So that goes away within the first 3 minutes of episode 1. And we see that he has spent the last 3 years training with the sole focus of stopping these games. So he's really good with guns now, and he is a very confident leader. So he has people that are searching every subway station every day for 2 years during the summer, looking for the recruiter, and he has this network and even gets connections to some military people that will help him try and stop these games. And it's a really cool evolution of the character from season 1 that feels pretty natural with all the trauma he went through and everything that he experienced. Him being kind of just broken, but so focused on taking that anger out on the people that caused it, is just a really compelling and natural evolution of what we saw from season 1. And the villain here, the front man that we knew from season 1, is so good. He is the perfect counter to our hero. And he plays with that, saying so you want to play the hero, I'll show you the consequences, and boy howdy does he ever. I'm not going to get into spoilers for this one. This one is way too fresh to get into spoilers, but I do have a couple of complaints that I won't be able to dive too deep into in a moment. But I do think, on the whole, this was much better than I expected, and just a really solid season 2 for something that I thought shouldn't have even had a season 2 in the first place. Usually when you have a show like Squid Game, I feel like it's best left as just that, glorious triumph in the moment that it was, instead of trying to overstay its welcome, extending it to a season 2 just because it was popular. It's always lackluster when that happens. In this case, though, I really think it was handled well. It seems very self-aware in what people expected for season 2, and it gives you that, and then some. So, the iconic red light, green light, that's the first game. So, the show brings you in with the same game, making you think, oh, he's just going to be playing the same shit again. And it even has similar characters that were introduced in season 1. We have characters that are very close to them in season 2, but they go in very different directions and serve a very different purpose. So it's a nice spin on character traits that we saw in season 1 and got fed a bit in season 2 that drastically change in the direction they go. For example, one of Ji-hun's friends is in this game again, but not the same kind of friend we saw in season 1. The next thing I want to mention that might be a big spoiler, but I don't think it is because I'm pretty sure it's in the trailers, but just in case there's a spoiler warning. Do you remember how in season 1 the big twist was that the old man that was with Ji-hun for most of the games was actually the man behind the curtain the whole time, the fucking puppet master that put all the games together? Well, season 2 knows that people are expecting some kind of twist like that, and they play with that expectation by putting the front man in the same position the old man was. But they let you know right away that it's the front man, because we saw him in season 1, and in the very first game, we get to see the front man come into the fold. He's playing the game, and we know that he is the big bad, but nobody in the game does. Ji-hun doesn't know. So that's a really fun way of spinning this, where now the viewer knows who this is, but nobody else does. So you're going through these games, and you are watching him participate, and he's playing the games legit. He's not cheating or doing anything shady or underhanded, where he's going off screen and somehow miraculously survives, like we saw in season 1 with the old man. He is even desperate to survive in some of them. I don't want to get into spoilers on how some of the games go, or just spoil what some of the games are, but it really seems like he was putting his life on the line, and that's kind of a theme that they drove home within the very first episode with the recruiter, where the recruiter plays Russian roulette with Ji-hun, and they play by the rules. No cheating, nothing that's going to get them VAC banned, no manipulation or underhanded shady tactics, just all textbook, by the book, rule following, which I think is just really cool and helps to flesh out the theme of the season even more so. So I thought they executed that really well. Now let's get into some of the things I didn't like all that much. Some of the games I just didn't think were that interesting. In the first season, I don't think all the games were hits either. There was definitely some shits. Like they weren't all slam dunks. There were some misses. But here, I felt like some of them were just kind of throwaway, as if the stakes weren't even really there. The second game, for example, there is like this big shocking moment where it's not the same game that we saw in season one, but the game that replaced it was just like a mishmash of 5 different small games put together, basically like little party trick games almost, and it just didn't even feel that tense. I didn't get the same feeling watching that, where it's like, oh, the characters are in real peril now. This is going to be a super hard one to accomplish, where there's actual dread on all of the characters for even seeing this game and having to play in it. I just didn't get that really. The game that followed it, I thought, was better. It was definitely a lot more intense. It was able to build a lot more tension and keep things like fucking, chaotic. But it just felt like the games in season 2 played almost too much of a background role. I was hoping it wouldn't be the sole focus of season 2 where it's just the games, but I'm pretty surprised at just how little the games actually play a role in season 2. It's not a focal point, honestly, which I think is going to be disappointing to a lot of people who just like Squid Game for that, the death games. Season 2 has much more of an emphasis on just plain old simple action. Just some lead spraying, some fights, fucking, it's more action and more about revenge and trying to stop the games by any means necessary. And that usually comes in the form of a firefight. So the games don't play a huge role here. The next thing I didn't really like is there's an entire subplot with that team that Ji-hun puts together where they are constantly trying to find where he's been taken. And every time it cuts to them, it's like useless. It feels like we're just watching filler because they're not getting any closer to finding him. They're just constantly on this wild goose chase and nothing's really getting accomplished there at all. Now, it does set up a very interesting character that we get introduced to in season 2 that has some very... it's going to be a spoiler if I get too deep into it. They introduce a character that is clearly going to play a big role in season 3. That's another thing. Season 2 is basically just a setup for season 3. I mean, it's more than that, obviously, but everything in season 2 is building for season 3. So there is a character that's introduced here in that side plot that is doing some real fishy shit that is definitely going to play a big role in the next part. But just, I can only talk about part 2 because that's what's out. Anytime it cut to them, it was just boring. They were not accomplishing anything at all. It just felt like wasted time. I can pretty much summarize an hour's worth of that side plot with just a few sentences. We need to check this island. This might be where the games are being played. All right, we checked the island. No good. We'll cross that one off and check the next one. Then they get to the next island. Jeepers, it wasn't that island either. Let's check the next one. That is everything that happens every time they're on screen without fail, and it doesn't really get deeper than that, except for that one character I mentioned that starts to do some more things that are clearly going to be a big deal later on. But as of now, they're not. It's just, try another, try another, try another. Eventually we'll find the island. Try another. And they just go on this deep sea adventure of just going to fucking island after island after island to no avail. So it's just, it feels just really useless. The other thing I also just didn't like, and this is less about the actual content of season 2 and more so just this trend with dividing things into parts. Since this is clearly part 1 of 2 parts where season 2 is really a lot of setup for season 3, there are just so many things in here and so many characters that feel highly underutilized with no actual point that they get to in this show that feels like it fits. So they introduce one of the shooters for the Squid Game. We get to see from their perspective, someone who actually kills the contestants in there. We get to see a little about them outside the game and inside of the game and the things they go through. which is a cool concept and something that's a fun thing to explore because you get to see a different side of it. Even though you did get to see a lot of it in Season 1, this is now seeing it from someone who is actively killing the people in the game. And that character, we do learn a little bit about, not a ton, but we get a bit, and we see that they're going through some shit while doing this job, but the character doesn't really do anything in the season. It's just, we get like glimpses of a different perspective every now and then. But there's nothing narratively that we get from the character that pushes anything forward or really changes anything. It feels like it's clearly going to matter a lot in Season 3, but that's what I'm talking about. When you're just breaking something up into parts, you get things that are half-baked like that. And that just always kind of bothers me a bit. I'm really getting tired of the trend of breaking things in half, because then you only get half of like the whole package that you need to now wait X amount of time for, probably like a year. It just feels disjointed. I'm getting really over that trend. I'd rather just wait for the whole thing to come out, because usually when you do a season, you know, like a full season, things wrap themselves up and storylines reach some level of closure. Of course, they don't need to be fully finished by any means if you're going for more seasons that are planned. Like, I think Game of Thrones always did a good job before, of course, it absolutely shit the bed with season 7 and 8. But it always did a good job of a whole season feeling like, oh, you got a whole complete package that is going to have more going forward. Whereas in a case like this, you just feel like you got half of the package and you have to wait for the next one to get the whole thing. So that's just starting to bother me a little bit. That's not even like exclusive to Squid Game Season 2 or anything, but you know, it is just getting to be a bit of a nuisance. Like House of the Dragon is the most egregious example, where the most recent season is actually just putting chess pieces on the board and not using them. You have to wait for the next season for those pieces to do anything. So fucking like nothing really moves in Season 2 at all. And it's not nearly as bad in Squid Game Season 2 by any means, but there is just obvious things that are just setup pieces that don't actually contribute anything in this season, but will in the next. So it just, again, feels half-baked at the moment. But I know when the whole thing is out, we're going to see the whole vision for it and the role they play. But overall, I do think Season 2 was very solid, much better than I expected it to be. So I definitely do think it's worth watching, and I'm really looking forward to the final season of Squid Game. Assuming, of course, Season 3 is the final season. They might just milk this cow for many, many moons to come. There's probably going to be tons of...
Milk this cow. Alright, you ready?
There is no company on the planet that deserves its failure more than Ubisoft. Just take a peek at their stock price right now and it'll tell you a beautiful story about a company that's so out of touch that now it is going through a catastrophic collapse where its shares are worth less than shoelaces. I've blabbered on, ranting about Ubisoft till the cows came home, so I'm not here to just do that again. Instead, I want to focus on their most recent blunder, where they just released another NFT game in 2024. 2024 years after the death of Jesus, they have released 2 NFT games 3 years after the death of NFTs. This is their second rodeo here, releasing NFT games this year. They've released 2 NFT games in a month of each other. That's like releasing Madam Web twice this year, except these are flopping even harder and even more embarrassing. The previous one was called the Champion Tactics fucking Goober Chronicles or something. But the only thing Ubisoft champions, the only tactic they're championing, is putting fart from my butt onto the blockchain. I don't know who's actually the head honcho at Ubisoft, but whoever their leader is objectively the stupidest person on the planet. If you walked into the office of the Ubisoft CEO, you would be walking into the domain of the world's dumbest man. It's I keep using the word baffling, but it actually is just mind-boggling how this company can be this bad at the one thing they're supposed to be doing, making games. They're allergic to making good games, and at this point, they're just downright allergic to making games. They're pushing NFT slop shovelware now. So they already did the Champion Tactics, and now they have a new NFT game featuring one of their most beloved IP, Rayman, except it's not really a Rayman game, it's an
Hello. Laura? Lara? Laura. I'm doing this because I don't know even the basics of Procreate, drawing, you know. I'm just kind of doing it how I think it is done. And I'm sure it's wrong, and I need to watch, you know, some videos and stuff of how to properly do it. But there's some, let's see, there's some I needed to edit. I know that was one of them. Yeah. I like the little shoes. But Lara, if you have some tips, I would love to hear them. Really would.
NFT game. It's just a full-blown NFT game called Captain Laserhawk. You see, Ubisoft released another NFT game, Captain Laserhawk the Game. Oh, they released another NFT game? Oh, God! No way the game plays like that, right? This has to just be the recording. Oh, jeepers! Well, I mean, it's Ubisoft. It really might play like this. This is a Ubisoft game. You said this is an NFT game? Let me see. How is it? I mean, it looks like...
So you say drag a new layer under the linear layer, you're saying? Where's my old one? Okay, so if I were to add a new layer, what's up, Gus? Just drag a new layer under the linear. If it's a PNG, you can color it in. So if I add new layer there, right? And you're saying put it under the original one? Is that what you're saying? That would be, well, let's see. Why am I not? Is it because if I check it kind of thing, or my opacity's up as high as it goes, right? So if I do a little squiggle here of red, right? So there's the red, but what's the point of, I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure it out. What's the point of adding that new layer? Is it above that layer? Okay. That's what you meant, I'm sure. It's not a PNG, that's why it's not working? Okay. Or is this the correct way to do it here? Is you put it above the original layer and then start coloring on it? Because that seems to work just fine. Oops, didn't mean to do that. And then how do you know if it's PNG or not? Like, I can turn it into those, right? But I would have to save it as a PNG, I guess, and then import it from there. But I think that's what you're saying here. So if I add that layer and put it above the first original layer, then I can scribble in, right? Where's the other one I was working on? There we go. So, what do you think? Make the red sea over here? That'd be kind of cool. PNG is an image without white. Okay. little faceless there. Might have to clean up this block here. Not crazy about that. I do like the shoes though. Well, it's supposed to be death, right? This little guy. But I like his shoes. I made those shoes. So, let's make the robe. I'm not sure what color the robe should be, but let's play with new layer here, as you were saying. If you download a pic, make sure it's PNG next time. Makes the coloring a lot easier. I'm sure it does. Yeah, I don't know all of this stuff, or any of this stuff for that matter. So I'm putting a new layer down, right, on the original, on top of the original, layer 1. So now if I just do some coloring in here, right? I kind of like that. I'll make it a little better, but I kind of like that. A little bit of red, brighter red, but not as good. And then color. That's not bad. Kind of cool. Okay. Hello. Hello from Russia. Hello. Hello from Russia. All right, let's fix. But what if I need to fix? Wait, that should be the same thing, right? So if I do that, okay. So I'm fixing over the original. Okay, that makes sense. I get it. Thank you for that. A very helpful tip. Tell you what though, I'm gonna smudge the crap out of this. Right? Oh no, I can't smudge a blank layer, right? There's nothing to smudge. Yeah. Okay, so that matters. You would have to smudge the original, right? Yeah, because you can't even see anything there. Undo smudge. There we go. So yeah, it would have to be the original for smudging, or you would copy the original, right? But then again, copy the original, and now you have two ones on top of it, and you have to do both, same thing to both of them. Ugh, jeez. Art, right? Am I right? But let's go ahead and maybe smudge blocks up a little bit.
Plug in an FT in, but what do they do? Captain Laserhawk the game from Ubisoft. I have to buy my ID card. Complete your pre-admission and reveal your ID card at your key to play Captain Laserhawk the game. Citizenship service. Owning one of the 10,000 IDs will transform you into a Niji, a brave...
Ross says, as long as you have fun, it's fine, but for me, it's painful to watch. All right, well, sorry. I will try to get better. Thank you for stopping in, though. Appreciate it.
Warrior of Eden. You'll have the power to shape the future of this world and chance to earn exclusive rewards of great value reserved for your rank. It's unbelievable. It's actually unbelievable. 2 NFT games from Ubisoft this year, within the last month. That's amazing. I know there's only 10,000 IDs. We need to act quick. They're flying off the shelf. How much is the ID? Good question. Here, the December 11th, the Niji Warrior IDs were minted. 3 days ago, early access. Then we have public. It's a transmedia gaming adventure where the community drives the narrative through innovative governance. How innovative. And if the game runs like this video, you are actually paying to play a game at 3 FPS. What a joke. Oh, I have to see another video. Maybe it really is just that. Oh, good news, that is actually the only video on it. Not a single other piece of footage exists. Love that. Ubisoft, you've done it again. A smash hit. The game is a competitive online top-down multiplayer shooter game developed by Ubisoft. When will they learn that putting their name on things makes people less likely to buy it? They should be hiding that fact, honestly. Like, if they want to make more sales, they should just take their name off of shit, or use an alias. Eden Online is the layer which gives power to the community when it comes to decision-making for the game updates each season. Eligibility to play the game in early access will be reflected by ownership of a Citizen ID card. Eden Online has a limited capacity of 10,000 seats for citizenship. The game beta will be available at the end of it. Yeah, we'll pass that, I already know that. I'm curious, what do the delusional NFT Twitter community members think? They weren't super thrilled about the last Ubisoft stinker. Still nothing positive yet. There's only a few posts about it too. The only post that has any real traction is from IGN saying Ubisoft has secretly launched a new game that features Rayman through its powered NFTs and blockchain in the year 2024. Not even the NFT people that actually buy fucking popsicle sticks as long as they're minted on the blockchain is biting on this one. You've done it again, Ubisoft. Click your buy ID card to see prices. Let me see. Oh man, these all seem so reasonable. I don't know how much is this in money? Someone convert the Ethereum for me. It's 18 to 19 USD. Okay. So it's an $18 to $19 early access NFT game. I don't see how that can fail. I can't believe more people aren't biting. Especially for some of the rare globulins. I already forgot what they call these stupid fucking things. Eden elitists. Jesus, did anyone buy a single one? It looks like all 10,000 ID cards are still here. Oh my god. Look at the top, it says 3,000 owners. Oh yeah, 3.2k owners. Wonder how many of that's held by a development team. Ubisoft's innovation is crazy. It is. Captain Laserhawk is actually a cool show. It has Rayman doing cocaine and eating sushi off of a naked cowgirl's ass. What? What do you mean? The cocaine I can almost understand for Rayman, but what do you mean naked cowgirl's ass? Holy Lord, you're right. This is not what I thought. When you said naked cowgirl, I thought you meant like a human being, like a cowboy, but woman. No, it is literally a female cow with titties and butt cheeks. And he is actually eating sushi out of her ass, like, no, like just straight up. What? What is this show? Wait, that sounds unhinged. Isn't Rayman a kid's game? Well, I thought so, but I don't think it is. I absolutely cannot pull this up on screen. I'm not exaggerating either. You can't see her nipples, but you can see the big fucking honkers, and he is pulling a sushi roll out of her asshole. Either way, though, this show definitely looks a lot better than the NFT Ubisoft game. That's for damn sure. I don't know why Ubisoft keeps making NFT games. In 2024. X-Defiant died for this. Yeah, Ubisoft had to shut down X-Defiant so they could take all the people working on it and instead put them on, I already forgot what this was called, Captain Laserhawk, NFT Eden Online Adventure.
view duration of 19 seconds. Wow, that's even less than my Call of Duty streams. That is impressively bad. Okay. Well, how about we listen to Sam Sulek?
There we go. All right. Plan for this evening at 6:38 p.m. departure time is to, in a most simplified form, try to pump as much blood as physically possible into my quads and hamstrings. Maybe even just a touch of adductors afterward. But quads and hams are definitely the stars of the show tonight. Hamstrings first, followed by quads. And quads is getting a bit more chill, you know? No more squatting at this point. Just pure quads isolation / stimulation. And what kind of set or movement do you think I'm going to do that? Like is there a particular movement out there where the only muscle that really gets activated in any capacity is going to be your quads and essentially nothing else? Because I would say there is. And we all know it, we're all reasonably acquainted with it, the leg extension. So that's going to make up the majority of the leg, or the quad portion of this lift, and I'm cool with that. I've gone through pretty major time periods where legs was essentially all leg extensions, minimal squats, which in a like muscle gaining sort of approach, actually trying to get bigger and build new tissue, totally not the right way to do it. I definitely saw some extra quad stimulation from increasing the amount of pressing that I was doing this last bulking phase. But now that I'm dieting down, I've said this a few times before, I'm not trying to, build any new tissue. All I'm trying to do is maintain all the muscle that I've already built underneath. So, doing some leg extensions combined with probably some sissy squat leg extension supersets as a finisher at the end, that will be extra perfect. And I put this like fancy pants glare filter on the lens. I think it looks way too much. It's kind of cool, but it's whatever. But that's the plan for tonight. Calorie intake so far, about 1,300. I've only got about 600-ish left, primarily from protein, and 28 grams of that protein is going to come from a bag of no sugar added lean beef jerky that I've got sitting right here in my bag. 28, well, it says about 2 servings, so it's probably a little bit less. But 14 grams of protein, 0 grams of carbs, because it's artificially sweetened with something, and then 1.5 grams of fat just from the beef itself. And that was honestly kind of a hack. When I saw that at the store, I decided to get a couple bags of it. I've already gone through 3 today, so that might need to become a bit more of a staple. But in terms of actual meal prep, my fridge has some things that are ready to be cooked. I got about 5 pounds of top round steaks that I'm going to cube up and sort of make a bit of I forget the exact sort of style of food that ends up being, well, basically just cubed up with seasoning, left in the sous vide. So I've got a whole tub of, or a whole Tupperware full of like cooked cube steak that I can eat. And then I've got about 5 pounds of ground turkey, which my 5-pound ground beef bowl is just about empty. So that'll be a perfect replacement. A little bit leaner too. The ground beef catches itself at about 4% fat, 96% lean, and even that might be a stretch. But the what was I going to say? Oh yeah, the turkey, 99% lean. So I guess I'll just have to see, because you can kind of taste it. Like you can tell if you're eating something rich or a little bit leaner. So usually if I really notice that whatever I'm eating is a bit fatty, I'll have to back off on it. But I think the turkey will be good. And then one more note, it's happening. As soon as I open up my phone and start scrolling a few TikToks, the first one, I took a screenshot of it, I guess I'll have to find it later. But it's like, it's a Naruto slideshow edit. It's not too late, bro. You can still lock in, make this shit happen. Come on, you can get after it. every year. I've been saying this forever. I've gone through 2 cycles of it now with the actual videos, where every year the same guys say, "Oh, this year I'm gonna make this shit happen," or we see the same posts this year. You're not gonna know me by the end of this year. I'm gonna let the. I haven't seen any like fighting my demons posts yet. I guess there's still that hasn't really come up, but I'm sure it will. Every year, and it's a good thing that it happens because there's a few seasons of urgency when it comes to fitness-based goals. Spring break, that's a pretty strong one. Everybody wants to get jacked so that they can go to the beach and look good. Basic, just summertime in general, and New Year's. So if every time, it's got like I don't know how many people basically try to get into it, there's a certain retention rate where every year there's new blood in the realm of working out. You gotta start counting your macros and doing the cardio. Now to hit the trifecta and add all 3 to your routine, that's rare. That does not happen a lot. I mean, most of the people who work out now don't track their macros. So it's not the easiest thing in the world, but it's very simple to make yourself stick out compared to everybody else. Get that macro tracker, start clocking some hours of cardio, and before you know it, that difference in action will result in a difference in position. But it takes a while for that result to actually be seen. So I'm sure that 6 months from now, it'll feel like that compared to the second. So would you rather be able to look back and think, all right, I killed it this year, or I'm starting to kill it this year, or think to yourself, shit, 3rd of July, screw it, I'll save it for next year. I think one of those situations is a little bit cooler. But either way, no more chatting. Let's just go make this leg day happen. Typically, hamstring starts with hamstring curls. So even though it was not my decision because the hamstring curl was taken, it's probably a good idea to change it up. Start with some RDLs. Now, even though this is the stack, since I'm fresh, this won't be the most difficult set, at least in terms of the first few reps. But that just means I'll be able to haul and squeeze them extra well. There. Two more of those, that'll be good. One more. And then let's jump onto some kind of curl. Actually, I lied. Let's do 2 more here. Maybe 4 flips of these RDLs. one more. Oh. Whoop. Yeah, those are sweet. I don't know why I haven't served 30 of those before. Okay. All right. Oh. A few sets of leg curls should be just about enough. Then move on to quads. After a few feeler reps, I cannot do the stack. I can do one notch lighter, and that's the plan. So if this set ends up being like crazy good, that'll be it. But I might do two. We'll see. Let's finish with an alternating single leg set. So one more. No. Then hands are done. Oh my gosh. All right. Hands are cooked. Let's go camp out of the leg extension for a little while. So not too heavy. Let's just start with a half warm-up, half light squeezing set of just 5 reps alternating leg extensions. And these, well, the whole point of this set is to just get quad started. You know, I'm not going to get to the point of like complete pure muscular failure. If I do, good for me. But really, my check marks that I want to cross off to be able to say, okay, that was a good opener. It's my quads are starting to feel fatigued, and they're starting to feel pumped. So as long as that's the case, or those are both the case, then I'm good. But get comfortable. We're going to be right around this area for quite a while. Oh my gosh. Let's go up one more notch. But just repeat that same style. That exact same style. Oh.
Oh my god. 2 more just like that. And then I'll let you do some super style stuff. Oh, goodness. Oh my gosh. One more. Same style. Last straight set. And then some sissy supersets. Well, not sissy super. You know what I'm saying. All right. Oh, gosh. Oh. Oh. Let me sit for a second before I decide exactly how I want to execute those next ones. Guys, so this will be some very controlled double leg set, like a full second hold at the top and a slow eccentric. Not to failure, but just to fatigue. Then I'll flip around and do some slightly self-assisted sissy squats hanging off the back of the leg extension. A few of these will be perfect. And the stretch on the sissy squats, nuts. Hard to explain with just words. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh. I have 1 or 2 more like that. Now we have a call. Okay. Oh my god. Holy crap. No need for a leg extension pre-exhaust on this one. Honestly, this elliptical has the perfect height little knobs for me to hold on to. So, I want to do these reps as many as I can with no self-assistance, and then the last few, pull myself up, but let my quad take all the force on the way down. And in a good way, not like a
hurting your knee caliber. Oh my god. Okay. Quads are done. Holy crap. Oh. Let's find some cool lighting and see how they're looking. So that was definitely a solid finisher with those sissy squats. And, you know, those haven't really been in the routine for a little while. I think my knees have been like a little tender the last couple of months. But today, I mean, those felt perfect, so good for me. Now my only goal is not to hurt them any further. But lightish leg extensions, body weight, sissy squats, nothing out of the ordinary there in terms of tension through the knees. But, let's see how quads are looking. Should focus here. There we go. Right about there. So, I'm feeling gradually more and more separation in veins, even unpumped. And like this separation between like medial quad, lateral and teardrop, whatever,
Wow.
it's getting pretty noticeable, which is really cool for me to see. And then I'm getting much more of a sweep of my hamstring, looking like it's hanging off the back of my leg instead of just kind of morphing into it. And half of that is also just to do with getting leaner, because the less body fat I have thickening up my skin on my knee joint, the smaller it's going to look. And then of course, as I get leaner, it doesn't really make my muscle bellies any smaller, so they stay big and my joints kind of start to shrink down. But let's get a little breath holdy flex here, see if I can get the extra veins out. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's making me lightheaded. And that's good. So the left quad is really the star of the show when it comes to this cross striation lining. The right one's got some, but it's just not the same. So the right one actually has a bit more veins, like especially in here. But the left one, well, actually veins-wise, rather similar. But either way, quads substantially cooked. Now all I gotta do is go home, slam some egg whites with a low-calorie sauce, and then go to bed. Not be tempted by the treats I've got in my pantry, which I have a few. And if you count your calories and eat them in moderation, you can have some treats. But if you really want to get lean and you actually want to stick to a legit calorie deficit, you do not have room to cheat. Not much. Just a touch, but not much. So let's go pack this stuff up, get the car. Okay. You know what I call that? I call that a satisfactory leg pump indeed. And I guess I can get into it in a little more detail now that I've kind of cooled off. Those sissy squats have such an interesting feeling at the bottom. I'm not joking, it's definitely different than even a really heavy squat or a leg press. It's kind of like just its own thing. And I don't think that weighted sissy squats are the answer. And maybe that's just me, but doing hack squats where I have plates and then I'm doing the sissy squat style, I think that's too much. That's just too much force through such a more isolated movement. But body weight, very nice. And honestly, those would probably be pretty cool with a 40-pound weight vest on. But I don't really have access to one of those, and I don't know if I really want to get one specifically for me, so maybe that'll just be an idea to float around in my head. But yeah, that was good. And it's just like, the leg extensions especially are such an awesome contrast, because on those sets of leg extensions, especially since I'm doing moderate weight, I wasn't really trying to launch the stack into the air or anything. I was feeling a lot of teardrop, like that sort of big insertion right by your knee, not so much like the outside of my quads. So to go back and forth between those two was really cool, because I could feel the fibers on my outer quad really stretching. You know, it's like doing it's almost like doing the tricep rope extensions, where you really go slow and get a full, complete stretch at the bottom, rather than just bouncing around the top. So all that's to say is, I think the leg extensions and those sissy squats are very nice complementary movements. Because the leg extension, very squeezing focused, right? I'm holding my legs up. That's the hard part. And then the sissy squats, complete stretch focus, where it's not hard to stand, but it is very hard to go down into a complete, it's like a personal trainer, complete knee flexion base position. But yeah, those were nice. So that's what quads are gonna look like for a little while. No crazy force, no crazy leg press. That'll basically get a good leg pump, get some good quad activation, and then that's all. So if that's not your cup of tea, sorry about it. But that was good. So plan for tomorrow is chest, and I think I'm in for a treat with tomorrow's chest day. Morning weight update today, 233, and even just walking around, I'm starting to feel pretty trim, and I've still got about 6 more pounds of body fat loss to go. That's kind of what I'm aiming for. There's still water and depletion and everything in peak week, but for the most part, my goal is getting about 227 lean, walking around, fully hydrated, so that I'll be able to drop that extra 10 pounds of water in sort of a depletion before getting all oiled up. But at this rate, I'm just about on track, though it definitely feels slow and steady, but it's starting to feel pretty slow, because I am really fighting the urge to just grub. But that is the hard part. So it's every time I think about that, I try to tell myself, okay, it's supposed to be hard. That means it's good. Get real. Don't be a baby. Grab a 0 sugar Jello cup, and don't start just scarfing down peanut butter. That's kind of what I tell myself in my mind. So my kitchen is stocked right now. I've got basically everything I need in terms of my dieting tricks. Low carb tortillas, fat-free or low-fat powdered peanut butter, which when reconstituted with 0 sugar maple syrup, absolutely awesome. Plus, when you combine that with the low carb tortilla, the flour and the peanut proteins are kind of complementary, so those actually sort of count as a complete protein. So I could have 40 grams of protein right there, sort of combined from 2 non-dedicated protein sources. So, and then a bunch of organic deli turkey, and I think you guys might actually be on something. When me and Mark went on our little Vegas trip, we stocked the hotel fridge with a bunch of regular deli turkey, the Oscar Mayer shitty brand, whatever, and eating a bunch of that from having only been eating straight ground beef and eggs, I felt kind of weird. I felt freaking weird more. I don't think I've really been dropping too many F-bombs. I'm getting better at that. But I felt kind of off. So yeah, I don't like that. So maybe I'm just extra sensitive to the scrappy food, since all I've really been eating is pretty solid, healthy kind of whole foods. So all the deli turkey I got was the organic, non-GMO, non-nitrate, whatever. So I got a bunch of that, and then that'll be perfect for some low-carb tortilla turkey sandwich wraps. And then just the standard egg whites with salsa, that sort of thing. Actually, that's going to be the plan for tonight's meal. A bunch of egg whites and salsa. That'll do me pretty freaking well. So, really just 8 more weeks of that ish. But I'm cool with that. Actually, not 8 more weeks. What I'm saying. Yeah, 8-ish. And then get back to bulking up. So we've all said it. You know, it's I hear it all the time. It's like, dude, I'm going to start bulking up for real. I'm going to seriously lock into this bulk, man. Or, dude, I'm going to get shredded this summer. I'm going to get shredded this summer. A lot of I'm gonna. And now more than ever, especially end of the year, like I was saying in the car on the way here, a lot of those, like, you know, lock-in style TikToks, like the ideas are out there, they're floating around. The energy is apparent, but the amount of dudes who are actually going to take that energy, feed off of it, compress it to critical mass, boom, and actually get the results that they want, not as often. And there's not one specific like trait or anything that's keeping anybody specifically from locking themselves in versus just doing the same shit day after day. But one thing that I think about that helps, because I'm definitely big on like some of your like personal like psychology, like thinking about why you think things, and like if something makes you really upset, try to understand like why you were upset and not just, you know, like basically uncontrollable to your own emotions. I think there's a lot of value to that. But what was I about to say? Oh, but one thing that I really do think about, at least every so often, like I'm not thinking like this all the time, but every so often I think it does good, is like, are you ahead of today? Or I guess, are you ahead of yesterday? Or where you were a week ago or 2 weeks ago? And it could be in any field, in any vector, in any like realm or specific point of progress. Like, are you moving towards something? And for me, since I've been locked into the bulking up and cutting down for so long, and no matter what my goal is at the time, I'm always headed towards something, which I think makes it really easy for me to kind of condense a lot of my like, you know, energy into a physical outlet. Because at any given time during the year, I have a specific goal for that day. Bulk up or cut down, right? One or the other. But if you don't have something like that, then I feel like you can be... What the hell's going on there? Well, I feel like your days can get pretty aimless, you know? And what I mean by that is like, the days are just gonna pass. You know, they're gonna blur into each other very quickly. And if you don't wake up and have something that you're excited to do, and it's like on your to-do list because you want to do it, then you know you're kind of just at the mercy of the universe. You know, like it's kind of hard to explain. But all that's to say is, if you don't have something like that, where you can wake up in the morning excited about some portion of your day, and then you can go to bed and think to yourself reflectively, like, okay, that was good. I feel good about what I did today. Then I think you're missing out on a portion of your life that is like pretty powerful. And it doesn't have to be working out. Like, I think everybody should work out pretty consistently. Everybody should have a good grasp of like calories and what food actually does once it gets into your system. It just helps you like feel better in general to have a good grasp of that. Like, eat enough normal stuff, drink enough water, get enough rest, like make sure your circadian rhythm is like a dubstep bass drop in terms of how wild it is. But you know, everybody needs some kind of thing. And I think there's a barrier to entry because nobody wants to look weird. Like nobody wants to come off as like obsessive and really interested in something and passionate, because you can't really get to a point where whatever you're doing is like a flex for quite a while. You know, like if you knew somebody in high school who was like very artsy, always kind of sketchbook style things, like if they're still working on getting good at it, then you know all their effort isn't really being shown in the results that they're getting. Or like if you knew a high school band who was like just starting out and they were, well, you could tell they were a beginner band. Sometimes that's kind of hard to feel good about if all of your sort of response towards what you're doing is kind of negative. So that's where you've got to have a little bit of an iron mind and not be so susceptible to any negative kind of external response to whatever you want to do, because it's what you want to do. It's your life. It's your time that you get to spend doing. I mean, everybody's got a reasonable amount of free time per day. You can spend that doing whatever you want, you know. So I think that's the important part to think about. It's whatever you want, and the sooner you can get a good grasp on that, the better I feel. But you know, I'm not your dad. I'm just a lifter guy. So plan for tonight: eat my egg salsa meal, go to bed early, wake up even earlier, and then get my hour of cardio done. I sort of feel the hour of cardio for sure. These lifts are slightly more, like, not lethargic, but maybe tiresome is a good word. And I'm not complaining, but I am making an observation that I can tell the energy levels are not the same as when I'm peak bulked. But that's just the nature of getting lean. So, I'm not stopping this train, and I will see you for tomorrow for what I hope to be my freakiest chest day yet. Exactly as predicted: 50 grams of protein worth of egg whites, a solid helping of a pre-chopped salad, which the point of that isn't the micronutrients. I mean, you guys love telling me, Sam, where are the vegetables? There were no vegetables in this full day of eating. Look, if you're eating red meat and you take your multivitamin, I mean, I've simply got the proof. I don't have any deficiencies. But it does give the eggs much more body. So, 50 grams of plain egg whites, not the most filling thing in the world, but 50 grams of protein worth of egg whites. But when you add some chopped salad, a little bit of fat-free cheese on the top, plus some salsa in the middle, which I hope to be a very flippable omelet here, then this should start. Okay, well, not exactly flippable. Either way, this is going to be pretty good. But I'm just going to have to scoop it onto the plate. Damn. And even Rascal, well, he's on the opposite side of the spectrum now. He's bulking up. He gets 2 tins of Fancy Feast. He was not a fan of the canned food I was giving him before, but he's scarfing this down. Do I leave this at the end of the video or just make this the start of tomorrow's? I'll just leave it at the end. So, 50 grams of protein. Well, 50 grams of protein from the eggs, 25 grams of protein for the fat-free cheese, about 5 grams of carbs, 1 gram of fat from the fat-free cheese. Because it says 0, but I mean, let's be real, there's probably still a little bit. So that puts me at finishing macros, assuming this is all I eat, which there's a strong potential I come back and sort of munch on some extra ground beef. So probably another 25 grams of protein. But my current intake so far, 113 grams of carbs, 41 grams of fats, 244 grams of protein. That is just about the limit. We're getting there. I'll actually do a little more protein, but meals like this are what most of my diet has been composed of. And it's, again, that Sprite Zero is more than empty. It's been refilled with some electrolyte sort of powders. But meals like this are kind of all I've been grubbing on. No treats. There's no Krispy Kreme. There's no damn Cinnamon Toast Crunch and whole milk and chocolate milk jugs in the fridge. And it's not because I'm suddenly thinking like, oh, these foods are absolutely horrible for you. The problem is they're so packed with calories and so unfilling that it's just not conducive with what dieting even is. Like, at its core component, I look at it in 2 ways. You got bulking on this hand, dieting down on this hand. Now, bulking, I want to eat foods that have dense calories where I can eat 800 calories per meal and be ready to eat that same meal again in 2 hours or 2.5 hours, whatever. Like, I want to eat a lot of food, but I don't want it to feel like I'm eating a lot of food, right? So I can keep ramping it up and push the envelope further over time. Dieting down, complete inverted opposite approach. I want to not eat a lot of food, but have it feel like I'm eating a lot of food. So that's the whole point of like the low carb tortillas, and adding in all the like the lettuce mix and the egg whites and the salsa and everything else. It's essentially like filler, right? Like the calorie density of this meal is so much lower than a tub of Ben and Jerry's. Like if I were to have a Ben and Jerry's tub, or like a bowl full of Ben and Jerry's sitting here, for the equivalent amount of calories, which let me just do the 300, like this is like 450 calories right here. That wouldn't even be half of a tub of ice cream, even less. Only like a few spoonfuls or one big spoonful would be the same amount of calories as this whole meal. So not as flashy, and certainly not hitting my taste buds in the same way. But this is going to make me feel much more full for longer. And that's the name of the game. Because if I eat foods where I'm hungry 30 minutes after I just ate a meal, then in my eyes, I just failed. That was a failure of a meal in a dieting context. Because as much as it is a mental thing of like, okay, I gotta be serious, I gotta hold myself accountable, I gotta not overshoot my calorie intake, that doesn't mean I have to torture myself. And what I'm trying to say there is there are tricks to make it easier. I didn't have my first meal till like 2 o'clock this evening because it's not too hard for me to wait until later in the day and like just drink electrolytes and water and everything until I basically like break my fast, breakfast at 2, and then my eating window begins. So there's just little tricks like that. And eating simpler meals like this, like conventional bodybuilder style meals, that's the trick.
Damn it.
So I'm gonna sit here and enjoy this, go to bed, and then I've got a damn hour of cardio in the morning, which if you play on your phone, you got some Clash Royale games, you're going crazy. It doesn't feel that long. But I guess that's easier for me to say because I've been doing it for a little while. But either way, I'll actually see for chess tomorrow.
Legs and eggs, he calls it. Scoot that little guy over. Add a new layer. Jeez. That took a while. Shouldn't have done that in the first place. You big dummy. What's the phone battery at? Alright, let's try this again. Well, I'll tell you what. I want like a burgundy, like this is, like a dark, really dark. Let's see what it can turn into, huh? Let's see here. Nothing I really want. Oh, it's brown. I think what I need is more of like a vermilion or something. I also don't want it to clash with the water. kind of don't like this now. What layer is that? There it is. What to do with you, man? What to do with you? What's a good color? This goldish brown, maybe. Mustard yellow. Let's see what that can do, huh? It's not bad, it's not great. What does the divide give it? Nothing. I don't know, yo. Need some references. That was pretty wild, huh? I don't even remember the prompts on these. They were wild, though. Even less, huh? Nope. About 19%. Collect my 10%. Hey. I don't know what these are supposed to be, but you know, that's AI for you. No! Stop it, Daisy. It's the way of the AI. Blend that. It's still there. I don't like that. I want that gone. Maybe if I... Too big. How about 10%? Collect my 10%. Daisy May. And Nope. Undo it all. Just undo it all. Undo that smudgeness. I think that's it. It's not going to actually say death, but you know. It's so cool looking. This was death at a comedy club. I thought that one was cute. Funny. Cute. Alright, let's go ahead and studio pin it. Completely get rid of that. Okay. Alright, is this all the same color? Nope, it is not. Of course it's not. Why would it be? Smudgeness. That looks great, huh? Alright. Now turn off the smudge. Daisy May. I'll tell you what we can do though. We'll do a circle. Right around, nope. Gotta be bigger than that. Daisy May. Alright, so now that that's there, I'm going to smudge the hell out of it. Okay, that did not work well. What if we smudge that? No? Okay, so if you put a new layer on, oh, let's see if I smudge, nope. Okay, so that's kind of how smudging works, I can see. Smudge it outwards, right? Okay, I see how that works. All right, so just delete that little guy. Yeah. I wish I could do like a clone stamp, you know, like in Photoshop. What would be funny, the death says? I don't know. What would be a funny thing to say? If I was death, at a comedy club, killing it, right? Dimensions. No. There we go. What's funny? Many things are funny. So I says to him, yeah, maybe just that. Maybe just that. So let's change the color, sure. Need something a little bit. We can freeform this to warp it a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. That's cool. Now we just need a better color. Well, how do I... No, that's not what I want to do. Is that how I change the... No? Okay, so... how do I highlight? Once I've rename, merge, clipping mask? I don't know what that means. Turn that off. Clear alpha select, I guess, right? I change the color? No. Copy and paste, color fill. Oh, okay, so let's try that again. So select, there, select, right, yeah. All right, and then pick a color that works, right? Maybe red. Nah, not that. How about... Yeah, I don't want it to stick out too much. I think that's okay, right? And then we do just like a double it up and then do like a black background. I don't know. But I kind of like that. All right. Back to there. So now we'll duplicate that layer, I guess, right? And select that, change that maybe to a slightly different pitch of color, you know, maybe like that, and then pull back the intensity of that. so that's nothing, that's sun. And then, what do I want to do? Move it. Yeah. Let's go back to freeform. Right. What do you think? I kind of want to get rid of those lines though. I don't like that. The fact that there we go. That's okay. I do that. I was running off the edge over there in the bubble. Yeah. So I says to him, I says, get your own monkey. Multiply, darken. Nah, I don't want to do any of that. Leave it normal. That's cool. And as for this one, I can leave that normal too, right? I don't have to change everything. I don't know what I can put there. But I'll tell you what though. Oops. Do that. Uniform, there we go. Scoot this. Oops. Ever so slightly. And then let's switch layers ever so slightly. I just don't like being that close to the edge. Maybe I need to darken up this, you know, throw a little, just a gray, light gray. Hey, what's up, Callie? Let's go, I'll tell you what, let's find a good brush that kind of has that texture, but is faded enough. Okay, let's drop it to. Oh yeah, I'm barely talking. I'm just kind of mumbling to myself here. Okay. That's all right. I'm trying to just put some minor touches on this. It's way too big. 10%. Yeah. Kind of like that. I kind of want to get rid of that little messiness there. I do like the overall theme of it though. What else? I think we're gonna change brushes here though. The Jefferson. Yeah, that looks great. Smoky, maybe? The Posy? We'll see here. See what this looks like. Fade it out a little bit. No. Maybe I'm just gonna go some good old-fashioned darker color. That's all I can do. Take a little bit of that, turn that down a little, and see what that looks like. I don't know. Oh, wrong brush. Let's go pinkly, pretty small. Okay, a little bit harder than that. Yeah, I don't know. That didn't work out well. All right. Kind of like that feeling to it though. Try to get a little bit closer. Maybe I can move it, right? Yeah, that's cool. Kind of cool. Kind of like that. Maybe fill in some. No, much less. What do you think, Callie? Might not be your cup of tea. I have no idea. I got some ones that are much darker than this. I think this part needs to be filled. At least a little bit more. I don't know. I don't know art, man. But if that's the case too, I need to break the line there. That was a good pop. Good back pop there. I need some depth. Needs to be darker on the edges. What if I took that and turned it up a bit? Gotta go lighter than that. How about we do it reversed? Nope. Need a bigger brush. Need a more. Okay, a little too much there. Still too much on both fronts. Let's turn that down. Bring that down. Bring that down. All right, now we're getting somewhere. Let's see, how do they do that? They just take. Oh, that's nice. You know what I'm going to do for this one? I'm actually going to put in another image into here. That's nice. There's that smudginess. Yeah, I can do that. Put in another something right there, maybe. Something along the lines of perhaps something alien? Something alien-esque? This is one of my favorites here. I made that one last night. I like that one a lot. All right, where's my little comedian? odd random object in a AI painting. Needs to go. It needs to go. So I don't know what. I don't know what. But I'm done for now. All right, everyone. Thanks for hanging in there with me tonight. Appreciate y'all.